GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, Chicago. Our top story tonight. An Illinois man is in critical condition after a fall from Harpo's rooftop bar, and we'll have updates on the mayoral residency questions swirling around John Kelly. Traffic is light with only minor delays. Over to you, Miles.
The new GMNA gift shop is officially open, and it's a cozy spot, just 2 mugs on the shelf, but they're ready for quick e-com orders.
If you're downtown, swing by shop.gmna.ca, grab one of the 2 mugs, and enjoy the charm of a truly tiny storefront.
We hear more designs are brewing, so next week the mug lineup will expand beyond those original pair. Still small, still personal, still easy to order via quick e-com.
2 mugs may not fill a cart, but they're a perfect reminder that good things can come in tiny packages. Lots to get to, let's begin. Here are our top stories. An Illinois man is in critical condition after falling from the rooftop at Harpo's Bar and Grill in Columbia, Missouri, just after 9 p.m. on August 24, 2026. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
At just after 9 p.m. on August 24, a young Illinois man stumbled from the rooftop of Harpo's Bar and Grill, the popular spot perched near the University of Missouri campus. Witnesses say he fell several stories onto the sidewalk below, prompting bystanders to call emergency services. Paramedics arrived within minutes, secured his airway, and rushed him to a nearby hospital where doctors listed him in critical condition. His mother, who received word of the incident, was taken to the hospital to be with her son. Police are reviewing surveillance footage and speaking with bar staff to determine how the fall occurred. No other patrons were injured in the incident. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Columbia.
Questions have been raised about mayoral hopeful John Kelly's eligibility after NBC Chicago uncovered paperwork indicating he listed an Orland Park address in December, and that his wife, Mary Ann Ahern, is registered to vote in Will County as of April. Chicago law requires every mayoral candidate to maintain a primary residence within the city limits, and the discovery has prompted a review by the city clerk's office. Election officials say they will verify the documentation and determine whether Kelly meets the residency requirement before the filing deadline. Kelly's campaign has responded that the address reflects a temporary mailing location and that the couple's primary home remains in Chicago. The issue adds another layer of scrutiny to a crowded mayoral field as voters await clarification on the candidate's true domicile in the upcoming election cycle.
After a 12-year search, a family in Evanston finally held the leash of the dog they thought they'd lost forever. Fleur vanished from Chicago's North Side back in 2014, and despite countless flyers and online posts, the animal remained missing. This week, volunteer coordinator Vanessa Antonino and members of a local rescue network traced a recent shelter intake to the family's address, confirming Fleur was the same mixed breed that had been turned in months ago. The reunion took place at the family's home on a warm August afternoon, with the pup bounding into familiar arms after more than a decade apart. Antonino said the group's persistence paid off, and the family expressed gratitude for the volunteers who never gave up on the trail. Fleur, now a senior dog with a silver muzzle, greeted his owners with a wagging tail, reminding them that time had barely changed his affection.
Oak Brook police, aided by neighboring Chicago area departments, deployed a grappler device to stop a van that fled during a pursuit earlier this evening. The coordinated effort prevented further danger on local streets. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
Police in Oak Brook converged on a van that had bolted from a traffic stop earlier this evening. After 3 separate chase attempts, officers from the Oak Brook Police Department and neighboring Chicago area units deployed a grappler device, launching a steel cable that wrapped around the van's rear axle. The sudden grip halted the vehicle within seconds, bringing the pursuit to a stop. Witnesses said the van's driver tried to weave through side streets before the device engaged. Authorities recovered the occupants without further incident and are now processing scene. The effort showcases the growing use of stopping tools by law enforcement across the suburbs. The Grappler, part of a pilot program introduced this year, is designed to immobilize vehicles while minimizing risk to bystanders. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, Oak Brook.
Amtrak's plan to relocate its South Loop maintenance yard to the Bridgeport neighborhood has drawn sharp resistance from local residents. Community members say the new facility could bring air quality concerns and disrupt family life, and they have organized a petition and town meetings to voice their worries. Amtrak argues the move will streamline train service, boost on-time performance, and generate a modest number of construction and permanent jobs in the area. The railroad company says the current South Loop site limits expansion and that the Bridgeport location offers better rail access. NBC Chicago has reported that city officials have not yet weighed in, and the proposal remains under review by the Illinois Department of Transportation. Neighbors also worry about increased truck traffic and noise near schools and parks. The debate continues as both sides prepare for upcoming public hearings. Later we'll hear why fans are lining up early for the BTS Arirang Tour Night 1 at Soldier Field. We will be right back. Thinking about selling online, most people give up long before they ever get a store open. Quickie.com changes that. Pick a template, add your products, and you are open for business. $10 a month, that is the whole price, no setup fees, and no cut of your sales. And there is the 10 on 10 guarantee. If you are not live in 10 minutes, your first month is on us. Mugs, apparel, crafts, coffee, if you can photograph it, you can sell it. Visit quickie.com and open your store today. 10 minutes from now, you could be in business. I'm Tessa from GMNA Studios.
Welcome back. The crash on US 41 at Martin Luther King Drive in North Chicago is still clearing the scene. At 2 a.m. this morning, two semi-trucks collided head-on, sealing the highway and forcing police and fire crews to shut the road. One driver was taken to a local hospital with injuries, while the second driver was moved to a medical facility for evaluation. NBC5 traffic reporter Kai Martin confirmed that traffic is being rerouted onto adjacent streets, and the Total Traffic and Weather Network is monitoring delays. Emergency responders remain on site, working to remove the wreckage and restore flow. Motorists are advised to avoid the area until officials announce that the lane has been reopened. US 41 serves as a key north-south artery for commuters heading to the city, and its blockage is expected to cause significant delays for freight and passenger traffic alike.
A new Chicago study finds emergency rooms see a sharp rise in dehydration, heat-related illness, and cardiac cases during extreme temperature spikes, adding strain to already busy hospitals. Imani Whitfield has the full story.
Emergency rooms across the city are reporting a noticeable uptick in patients during the recent stretch of scorching temperatures. The study, conducted by researchers at a local university, found spikes in cases ranging from severe dehydration to heat-induced illnesses and cardiac events. Physicians say the combination of relentless sun and high humidity pushes vulnerable residents, especially the elderly and those with pre-existing conditions, into crisis mode, prompting more trips to the ER. Hospital staff note longer wait times and a heavier workload as they triage and treat these heat-related emergencies. The findings suggest that each intense heat spell adds measurable pressure on the city's medical infrastructure today. Imani Whitfield, GMNA News, Chicago.
Fans are already lining up before sunrise outside Soldier Field, hoping to claim a spot for tonight's sold-out opening night of BTS's Arirang World Tour. The K-pop phenomenon, whose Chicago stop draws crowds from the near west side to the South Loop, has prompted a sea of orange-black merchandise and handmade signs stretching for blocks. Organizers estimate the stadium will hold roughly 54,000 attendees, and security has posted additional checkpoints to manage the early influx. Ticket holders say the anticipation builds after weeks of social media hype, and many plan to stay through the late-night encore. The concert marks the first U.S. appearance of the tour, and city officials are monitoring traffic on the Dan Ryan and Lake Shore Drive corridors as fans stream in. Tonight, Soldier Field will transform into a global pop music celebration.
Chicago School Board President hopeful Jennifer Custer announced she will withdraw from the race today, citing that special interests have readied millions of dollars for the contest. The incumbent alderwoman, who has been campaigning for the board's top seat, said the influx of undisclosed money would compromise the election's integrity. Custer's decision comes after weeks of fundraising battles that saw rival groups line up to pour cash into advertising and outreach. City officials noted the board's upcoming budget meeting next week, where the president-elect will influence funding for school construction and safety programs. Political analysts said the vacancy could reshape the field, giving remaining candidates a clearer path to the chair. Voters will receive updated ballot information from the Board of Elections later this week. The board is set to convene next month to approve a 10-year capital plan that includes new high school facilities on the south side.
Chicago Public Schools has closed John H. Kinsey Elementary in Garfield Ridge for mold clearance testing beginning August 27 through August 28. The ongoing investigation aims to determine potential contamination. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
Students and staff are staying home as John H. Kinsey Elementary shuts its doors for a 2-day mold clearance test. Chicago Public Schools issued the order after preliminary checks suggested possible fungal growth inside the aging building. Inspectors arrived late Tuesday, sealing off classrooms and common areas while they swab surfaces and collect air samples. The testing will run through Wednesday, with results expected before the start of the new school year. Parents have been notified that the school will remain closed until officials confirm the environment is safe. In the meantime, district officials are arranging temporary learning sites for affected families. The closure comes as part of a broader effort to ensure health standards across the system. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Garfield Ridge.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist for tonight.
A strengthening high over the Great Lakes and a northwest keep tonight's air dry and steady. The all-time high for August 27 in Chicago sits at 83 degrees, set in 2024 during a late summer heat surge that pushed temperatures well above the seasonal norm. The all-time low is 47 degrees, recorded in 2020 during an unseasonal Arctic dip that plunged the city into frost. Normal high for this date hovers around 77 degrees and the typical low near 64, so both records sit several degrees away from what we usually see. That contrast highlights how rare those extremes are. The live radar screen is blank across the entire metropolitan area. No echoes appear over Lake Michigan or the inland counties, confirming the absence of rain, snow, or thunderstorms. With high pressure rising aloft and a northwest jet streaming at 40 miles per hour, the air column remains subsident and dry. That same jet will continue to sweep any lingering moisture eastward, so the city should stay clear through the night and into morning. Turning now to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m., the city sits under a clear sky with a temperature of 77 degrees, humidity 59%, and an east wind at 6 miles per hour. High pressure rising over the region is capping any lift, while a northwest jet at 40 miles per hour streams aloft, reinforcing subsidence. That combination locks in dry air and prevents cloud development through the evening. Temperatures will dip slowly after sunset, reaching 64 degrees by midnight as radiational cooling takes hold. Winds may strengthen to 11 miles per hour from the east later in the night, but remain gentle. UV index remains at 6 from the earlier daylight, though it will fade after dark. No weather alerts are in effect. With the atmosphere remaining stable, we now look ahead to the next 5 days. Friday begins with a high of 81 degrees and a low of 64 under another high-pressure ridge, keeping skies clear and temperatures modest. Saturday's high climbs to 82 while clouds drift in from the lake, producing an overcast feel but still no rain. Sunday sees the warmest day of the stretch, reaching 86 with a low of 72, and the sky remains overcast as a weak frontal boundary slides east. Monday holds at 84 high and 75 low, the overcast layer persisting and humidity creeping higher. Tuesday breaks the pattern with a high of 86, low of 73, and a 40% chance of light rain as the next system approaches, bringing the first showers of the week. The 5-day span moves from dry early week to a modest wet turn by midweek, offering a clear signal for planners. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, traffic updates, a look at the Bears injury report, and our Ann Sather spotlight. Stay tuned, we will be right back. Thinking about selling online, most people give up long before they ever get a store open. Quick Ecom changes that. Pick a template, add your products, and you are open for business. $10 a month, that is the whole price, no setup fees, and no cut of your sales. And there is the 10 on 10 guarantee. If you are not live in 10 minutes, your first month is on us. Mugs, apparel, crafts, coffee, if you can photograph it, you can sell it. Visit quickecom.com and open your store today. 10 minutes from now, you could be in business. I'm Tessa from GMNA Studios.
Minor delays across the city, but the biggest impact right now is the closure of the main entrance to the Western Orange Line station. All vehicles must use side streets on Western Avenue, adding 5 to 10 minutes for drivers heading downtown. Sewer work on Addison forces westbound 152 Addison buses to detour along Ashland between Chicago and Superior, slowing traffic there. The Taste of Grease Festival blocks Halsted between Monroe and Van Buren, diverting the 8 Halsted bus and backing up north-south traffic on Halsted. On the south side, the 9 Ashland bus is on a detour, and the 6 Jackson Park, 10 Museum of Science and Industry and 14 Jeffrey Express routes are also rerouted. Minor bus reroutes at 115th and Racine and at 115th and King cause no major backups. Aside from those spots, the expressways and major arterials are moving smoothly. Expect flow this afternoon, with only localized slowdowns near the construction zones.
Chicago Air and Water Show is set to roar over the lake this weekend, the city's biggest free spectacle of jets, parachutes, and daring pilots. It's a perfect chance to watch the skyline light up free. If you're looking for movement right now, the final installment of Grant Park's free summer dance series is in full swing, inviting anyone to step onto the lawn and try a salsa spin. From tomorrow through next Tuesday, Hysterical Fest presents Women Plus Act Out at the Piven Theater Workshop inside the Noise Cultural Arts Center in Evanston, a 3-day showcase that puts bold female voices front and center. And for a little community fun, Chicago's Viral Bald-Off is underway, where contestants vie for the titles of Baldest Baddie and Baddest Baldy, a light-hearted reminder that the city loves a good laugh. Keep an eye on the calendar because the summer isn't over yet. And now here's Theo with sports.
Chicago's summer sports swirl, injury updates on field drama, and future talent emerging. Defensive end Austin Booker has been placed on a week-to-week status, missing the past several days of practice. Coach Ben Johnson confirmed the designation ahead of the joint Bear-Titan session, leaving the edge rotation thin and prompting the front office to consider depth options before the next matchup. 2 off-field flashpoints have peppered the Cubs' Diamondbacks series. A complaint that third base coach Quentin Barry was signaling hitters, and a missed balk call on pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez. While unlikely to shift the Cubs' postseason math, the incidents could fuel tension as Chicago heads into a pivotal 7-game home stretch. Second City Hockey's latest under 25 lists spots forward Noah Boisvert at the helm of a NCAA-heavy cohort ranked between 16 and 20. The ranking underscores a pipeline of college talent that could replenish Chicago's forward depth, giving the Blackhawks a fresh infusion as they eye the next season's roster construction. The 2026 Bears are shaping into an offense-first squad, a stark contrast to the defense-centric legends of Mack, Tillman, and Urlacher. With a potent passing attack emerging, the front office appears to double down on skill positions, while the defense remains a work in progress that could dictate the team's ceiling this season. Stay tuned, Chicago. The next play is just around the corner.
Thanks, Theo. Ann Sather's beloved Swedish restaurant in Lakeview is opening a new flagship in the former Stella's Diner at 3042 North Broadway. The family-run spot, famous for its cinnamon rolls and hearty meatballs, will keep its classic menu and retain the staff that have served generations of Chicagoans. The renovated space adds a bright, modern dining room while preserving the cozy neighborhood feel that made the original location a staple. This expansion not only gives longtime fans a fresh home, but also brings new jobs and a gathering place to a block that's seen rapid change. In a city that thrives on food and community, Ann Sather reminds us that tradition can grow without losing its heart. Later, we'll explore how the former West Inglewood School is turning into affordable housing, plus the impact of the Danvers house explosion. Thinking about selling online, most people give up long before they ever get a store open. Quick Ecom changes that. Pick a template, add your products, and you are open for business. $10 a month, that is the whole price, no setup fees and no cut of your sales. And there is the 10 on 10 guarantee. If you are not live in 10 minutes, your first month is on us. Mugs, apparel, crafts, coffee, if you can photograph it, you can sell it. Visit quickecom.com and open your store today. 10 minutes from now, you could be in business. I'm Tessa from GMNA Studios.
Welcome back. Mayor Brandon Johnson and local officials gathered for the ribbon-cutting ceremony turning the former Charles Earl School, closed in 2013, into the Charles Earl School Apartments, providing affordable housing in West Englewood. Grady Sokolowski has the full story.
The ceremony today saw Mayor Brandon Johnson and city officials pull the ribbon on the newly christened Charles Earl School Apartments. The former elementary campus, shuttered back in 2013, has been transformed into a block of affordable units for low-income families. Workers stripped away old classrooms, replaced them with modern kitchens, and preserved the historic facade that long anchored the West Englewood streetscape. City leaders said the project is part of a broader push to repurpose vacant schools for community needs, turning empty corridors into homes. Residents gathered to celebrate the change, snapping photos as the first tenants prepared to move in. The development adds much-needed housing options to a neighborhood still feeling the ripple effects of school closures. Grady Sokolowski, GMNA News, West Englewood.
A house on Old Peoria Court in Danvers erupted into flames around 11:50 p.m. Tuesday, sending 8 people to hospitals with serious injuries. Firefighters battled the blaze through the night. Delia Vasquez has the full story.
An explosion ripped through a single-family home on Old Peoria Court just after 11:50 p.m., sending flames racing through the structure until it was completely engulfed. Firefighters from Danvers and surrounding areas arrived within minutes, battling the blaze while rescuers pulled victims from the wreckage. 8 people were rushed to hospitals with serious injuries, according to NBC affiliate Week in Peoria. The house, built in the early 2000s, collapsed under the force of the blast, scattering debris across the quiet residential street. Officials are still investigating the cause, but no additional casualties have been reported. The scene remains cordoned off as investigators and recovery crews continue their work. Delia Vasquez, GMNA News, Danvers.
Thank you, Chicago, for joining us this evening. Tonight's touching reunion of a family with their dog missing for 12 years reminded us all of the resilience in our community. I'm Rosalind Carney, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to you. Stay safe and good night.